Hi everyone, welcome back to another episode of DIY with Danica. In case you can't tell by my cute headband, my candy skull t-shirt, the pictures of my loved ones who've passed away in the background, or my skull earrings, which I made myself. Today's tutorial is going to be on how you can decorate for your own Dia de los Muertos celebration. Dia de los Muertos is a Mexican holiday that traditionally takes place on November 1st and 2nd. The holiday celebrates the memory of family and friends who've passed away. Although it has its origins in Mexico, Dia de los Muertos is celebrated throughout the world today by people who either have Mexican heritage or people like myself who just happen to see the value in honoring their ancestors, who find joy in talking about their ancestors, or who strive to keep the memory of their ancestors alive for the next generation. Today's tutorial is going to focus on an essential part to any Dia de los Muertos celebration. You will be learning today how to create your very own Papel Picado. In order to create Papel Picado, you will need the following materials. You will need scissors. You will need a variety of colorful tissue paper. You will need tape. I'm using painter's tape because it has a nice light adhesive and it's very colorful, and this is a very colorful project. You can optionally choose to have your pencil and some paper available in case you need to draw out your design beforehand. Now, just a note on the tissue paper. I get my tissue paper from the dollar store, or you might find some in the Dollar Tree. The dollar store has paper in the gift wrapping section, and depending on what time of year you go, you might find different colors. So in the spring, you're likely to pick up like pastels, like these, lavender, light pink, light yellow, some brighter colors. In the summer, you're more likely to find brighter colors like red and blue around 4th of July, all the way up into fall and Christmas, where you will find more of those darker colors like the oranges, the dark greens, and so on. So for today's projects, we really want to focus on using bright and vibrant colors. Our Papel Picado is going to begin with you taking your large sheets of tissue paper and cutting them down into smaller rectangular pieces. So here I have some rectangular pieces that I've cut down to about 10 inches by 7 inches. And because the tissue paper is so thin, I'll be able to work with about 4 pieces comfortably at the same time. The first step is going to be to take your paper and make some folds. The more folds that your paper has, the more intricate your Papel Picado will be. So I'm going to begin, and I have 4 thin pieces of tissue paper here. I'm going to begin by folding them once, making a crease, and I'm going to fold again, a second fold, and even a third fold. Okay. So I'm going to be referring to this side that has the fold as my fold, and this side where there are open ends as the open-ended side. So on my fold, just like when we were little and we were making snowflakes, you will be cutting half shapes onto your folded side. So by half shapes, I mean instead of a whole heart, you might only cut out this part of the heart. Or instead of a whole circle, you'd be cutting out half of the circle. instead of a whole oval, you cut out half of the whole oval, and that would help you make a leaf shape. Or instead of a whole diamond, you would only be cutting out half of a diamond. Making sure that you're cutting on the fold so that when you do open your Papel Picado, you actually see the entire shape that you are going for. Okay. So, on my folded side, I'm going to start with a circle right in the middle, half of a circle. And above my circle, I'm going to be making half of my oval, which are my petal shapes, because the circle is going to be the center of a flower. And I will be making one on the bottom also of my circle, oval shape. I am going to be making a fold here because this is where I want the next petal of my flower to come out, as well as a fold here and a fold here. And another one, another fold. And one more fold at an angle. Being very careful because the paper is delicate. And another half oval. These are going to be the leaves of my flower. So, as you can see, from once I open this, it is going to look hopefully like a flower. Then I can add other shapes on that folded end. So I'm going to make diamond shape, like a triangle. And whatever I do on the top, I'm gonna also do on the bottom because I like things to be symmetrical. So this is my folded end, and as you can see, I have a lot of different cuts in it. For my open end, I'm going to open one time so that I can see this fold. So here's my open end, and I unfold it once, and now I'm on a new fold, which gives me opportunity to cut new patterns in on that fold. I'm gonna go for a heart this time. As I stated, anything I do on the top, I want to also do on the bottom. If I open this up again, I will find that I have another fold, which gives me an opportunity to put in shapes. Now, if I were to open it up again, it would be completely open. Before I open this up and finish this one, I'm going to fold it back, and I want to give my bottom a little bit of interest. So I'm going to cut a scalloped bottom. So on this open edge, which is going to work as the bottom of my Papel Picado, I'm going to create a scalloped edge by making a slight U-shape cut just to soften that edge so it's not just a boring straight line. You can see my flower. You can see my hearts, my circles, all of that on my Papel Picado. I am going to create some more patterns on my other colors. Okay, when you're making your Papel Picado, it's really important that you are cautious and that you do not cut on your open ends, because you want this line, the perimeter of your Papel Picado, to be unbroken. You want that to be a solid line. And finally, I have my pink Papel Picado. The next step after cutting out your Papel Picado is going to be to attach it to either a string and glue, or what I would find easier, attaching it to a piece of tape. And it's more colorful. So if you have a thicker or wider piece of tape like I do, then I would suggest cutting it in half into a thinner strip of tape. So I've taken my thicker piece of tape and cut it lengthwise in half. That was an unnecessary step. I really encourage you guys to get a thinner piece of tape. But since Danica does things on a budget and I'm using what I have at home, I have to adjust. So I'm taking my tape, I'm laying it with the sticky side up, and now I'm going to attach my Papel Picado that I've cut in alternating colors, making sure that the scalloped edge that I cut is not touching the tape. The straight edge at the top will touch the tape. I'm going to lay my pink on the tape, about halfway up the tape, making sure that the straight edge is what's touching the tape. I'm going to give myself about finger space, and then I'm going to add a yellow piece of my Papel Picado. I'm going to add one of my turquoise pieces, making sure that that scalloped edge is at the bottom. Now the beautiful thing about using tape is that as you come to the end of your tape, unlike string, where you'd have to actually make a knot and you'd be using glue, which would be messy, you can just take another piece and attach it to the first piece. Now that I've strung or attached my Papel Picado to a piece of the sticky side of the tape, I'm going to take the top piece that I didn't attach and simply fold it over. So that now it's completely closing in the Papel Picado. Once you have completed attaching your Papel Picado to the tape and folded the top layer of tape over, then you should have a chain of Papel Picado that looks something like this. This is a bright and colorful addition to any Dia de los Muertos celebration. It looks great in a classroom. Kids love being able to point out the one that they made. It's great for your bulletin boards. And it's just a fun and creative activity that you can do with either your family or your students. So if you like this tutorial and you found it useful, you want to give it a try either with your family or with your students, then please give me a thumbs up. Check that little red box for subscribe for more DIY crafts from Danica. And remember, if I can do it, you can do it.